attended the last event here, and in leaving, I drove to the airport. I boarded the plane, and I sat right next to this guy. We were both in first class, and this flight attendant came over, and I asked her. I said, you know, it was a long flight from where I was at to, I forget, Denver or Las Vegas or whatever. And I asked the flight attendant, I said, are there any meals on board? And she looked at me and she said, I'm sorry, that's a security question that we can't answer. So I turned to the guy to the right of me and I said, I don't get it. He says, I don't get it either. She then goes into the cockpit. 5 minutes later, the Austin Police Department come on board. They grab me, take me out of the airplane, get all my belongings, put it outside, interrogate me for a half hour. Plane leaves. Finally, they finish. I had to go back to United and rebook it.
He's a Million Mile member, by the way, right?
Yeah, Million Mile member. Yeah. They wouldn't tell me what the problem was. All they would do is they would just search me and interrogate me. They wouldn't tell me what the problem is. Finally, I found out. The flight attendant thought I said, are there any Leos on board? A Leo is a law enforcement officer. So my advice to you, if you're leaving Austin, please don't ask if they're serving a meal.
This is a true story, too.
True story, right. The story that I like to share, however, is about being overconfident in whatever you do. And actually, I'm going to take this off. It's flapping in. The story takes place actually when I was in high school. It was my junior year, and I sat right next to this guy that always made a mess. It was chemistry class, and it was the lab at chemistry class. He'd be spilling stuff on my side of the table, and I'd have to clean it up. And it's a real pain in the ass. And this guy was kind of a short guy, kind of stocky, just a pain in the ass, right? So one day I says, you know something, you're a pain in the ass. He says, oh yeah, you want to fight about it? So I said, yeah, I'll fight about it. I said, where? He said, well, how about Greenfield Park? Well, that was pretty cool, close to where I live. So I said, okay, fine. I says, and what time? He said, 4 o'clock. I said, okay, I'll meet you there, 4 o'clock. Well, I told all my friends about this. So you want to see a neat fight? So I said, please come to Greenfield Park. I got dressed up. I went home, I got dressed up. I wore white slacks, white shirt. I was so confident I was going to frame this guy, right? So we're sitting, so I arrived at the park, I looked, and there were all my friends. All my friends there watching. And here's this guy in front of me, and I turned around to just wave to my friends. When I turned back, the guy punched me in the nose, blood gushing out. I couldn't stop the bleeding. I raced home. My mom almost blew a fit. I mean, she saw blood all over my body. She rushed me to the hospital, a couple stitches. I was fine. Now, the irony of the story is that 2 years later, almost to the day, this jerk, this idiot, marries my sister. So when you think about it, it took 2 years, but I finally got even with him, right? So don't be overconfident, and don't ask anything on an airplane. All right. Thanks, Joe.